Let's go through these three forms together and why they're important. Now, I will nuance that these forms are different for every state. So make sure that you're looking at your state-specific forms whenever you're going through these. But in Pennsylvania, I'll go through the three forms that I referenced in this prior video. First and foremost, a living will. So in my healthcare system, we actually use the combined living will and healthcare power of attorney form. And sometimes a living will and a power of attorney form are separate, but this form is really nice because it actually puts them both into one form. So what is this form and why is it important? This is a form that any adult should have who has preferences about their own healthcare in a worst case scenario type of situation. So the couple of pieces that this form has, okay, and don't mind me, I just inverted my screen so that you can actually see these. So one is the appointment of a healthcare agent. So a healthcare agent is essentially the person that you want to help make your healthcare decisions if you're ever in a position where you cannot make your own healthcare decisions. Who do you want to make those decisions, and who would be your first alternative, second alternative, etc. So the other pieces of this form: guidance for if something really bad happens. So if you are in a severe car accident, if you have brain damage, if you are in a worst case scenario, end stage condition where you are unlikely to recover from, what are the things that you want and don't want? This form is your voice whenever you are unable to tell us your decisions. So this is super important. My husband and I are in our 30s and we completed this form so that it's on file and our children and our parents do not ever have to make these decisions for us. The next forms, I would say, are kind of redundant, but are both important. So one is the POST form, which is the Pennsylvania Orders for Life-Sustaining Treatment. Every state has a version of this form, and the other is what is called an out-of-hospital DNR. Why do I say these are redundant? So the POST form, the very first piece is, if your heart stops, do we do CPR or not? And that's what this form is saying. If your heart stops, do we do CPR or not? So why is it important to have both when you're a DNR? So the POST form has fine print at the top that specifically says to follow these orders, an EMS provider must have an order from his or her medical command physician. So essentially, if EMS, an ambulance, shows up at your house and this is the only form you have, they have to say, okay, I know that Chelsea doesn't want CPR, but I have to call my command physician and get an order to follow these wishes. An out-of-hospital DNR, on the other hand, is a physician order that the ambulance should be able to follow without calling their command physician. And this form should also come with a bracelet and a necklace, at least in Pennsylvania. The other things are, on a POST form, it actually does help outline some of these other wishes too. And this is in a situation today, not in a worst case scenario situation like the living will. So do you want full treatment? Do you want limited treatment? Are you focusing on comfort? Do you want antibiotics? Do you want artificial nutrition or hydration? It really breaks all of those things down for if something happened today, not necessarily only in a worst case scenario situation. Let me know if you guys have further questions, and as always, follow along for more.